The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN headquarters in St. Petersburg, Florida. 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, 1 hour to go until that opening bell. And we got markets off to the negative side this morning. Dow futures off 180 points, trading 29,343. S&P futures negative by 20, trading at 33.59. NASDAQ futures negative by 77, trading at 95.48. You have oil right now flat at 51.16, 10-year yield off a bit, 1.61%. We'll start things off with a chart of the S&P overnight. You see the slide right at about 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. You have the S&Ps at all-time records. Yes, you can't be at all-time records every day, but we'll see how the day plays out today with still an hour to go until the opening bell. And we're more than 10 points off the low that we made in the S&P. So you trade from 33.82 down almost a full percent to a low of 33.48. You're talking about 34 S&P points, pretty much a 1% move from high to low exactly. But from there, we're now up about 11 S&P points at 33.59 right now. You see where we are, putting it on some context, even over the last 20 days. The low 32.12 starting February, 33.82, a remarkable 170 S&P points from February 1st up to the high last night at 33.82. Jumping over to the other markets, we'll start things off with the Dow, 29,352. You see the slide last night, 645 as well. And why don't we get into some of the news before we jump to the rest of the charts, because this having a lot to do with the market action as China confirming 15,142 new coronavirus cases and 254 deaths. That difference having to do with a difference of how they're defining who has been diagnosed, to include clinically diagnosed cases in its figures, and the 13,332 of the new cases fall under that classification. So using scans of people's lungs as opposed to just the test itself, reclassifying how they're going to define that number, and that number spiking dramatically last night. You see the print on this article, Wednesday, last night, 6:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Backing up to the charts, there's some context, right? As the market, right at about 7 o'clock p.m., 6:45 falls out of bed. We reach a low in the Dow, 29,247, but we're up more than 100 points from that level, 29,354. We'll see if the market can shake off that negative overnight action. 33.61, which we covered in the S&P. NASDAQ 100, 95.52. The lows last night, I should say early this morning at about 5 a.m., 95.12, so you're looking at about 40 points off that low. Crude oil trading pretty much in line with the market. You see the spike lower. We were actually climbing towards $52 in the price of crude, made it within about 5 pennies. We'll move that down a bit. Made it within about 5 pennies of 52, and that global scare, just like that, you fall to 51.19. You make a low, pretty similar time frame with the market of $50.60, almost $1.35 coming down from that high last night. And we're back above 51 at 51.10. Gold contract trading inverse with the market. You see the spike on gold on that news. Climbs above 15.80 briefly, 15.76 right now. And the euro-US dollar right now trading at 108.59. Continued weakness in that US dollar, in that euro dollar, with strength coming from the dollar. Other news out there, just hitting the tape. We get news at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which works out well as this program begins at that time. Weekly jobless claims coming in, 205,000 versus the 210,000 expected. That number just coming out at 8:30. First-time claims for state unemployment benefits expected 210. That number coming in at 205, up from 202,000 reported from the previous week. So that just hitting the news, and to see no real reaction in the markets on that jobs number, pretty much in line with what they were expecting. Other news out there, Tesla. How about this one? So the stock has had quite a run, and as some had speculated, even on this network, on this on the 10 o'clock show with Tom, we were talking about it, and Tom was even saying it would be a good time to push some shares out to the public at this valuation. And sure enough, Tesla announced on Thursday its plans to offer $2 billion of common stock. Elon Musk will buy as much as $10 million of stock in this offering Larry Ellison purchasing up to 1 million, so they're going to be buying shares, cheerleading out there, of course. The raise comes 2 weeks after Musk declared that Tesla did not plan to raise any more capital. Interesting tidbit there. So they have how much Musk's going to buy, 10 million. Ellison's going to buy 1. The company's offering will offer 2.65 million Tesla shares through underwriters Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Tesla said it plans to use the proceeds from the offering to further strengthen its balance sheet as well as for general corporate purposes. Shares of Tesla slumped about 5%. We'll pull up that chart in a moment. Had closed at 767.29. It's well ahead, of course, where it was in December. Even accounting for the pre-market moves, Tesla still up 109%, 219 and 135 over 3, 6, and 12 months. How about that 6-month number, 219? Tesla at one point early in the month was at 968.99. Yeah, and this is where it talks about it. You got to keep your eye on, what's going on. You could have almost anticipated that this was coming. I'd say as much as you'd be a fool not to bring in some capital when you've run up 220% in an industry where they need money to basically create an electric car fleet. So they're going to be able to use that. Traders had speculated Tesla may use the recent run-up in the stock as an opportunity to raise funds by selling more shares to the public. Sudden jump in the stock raised concerns it had become a speculative bubble driven by a short squeeze. Well, you can't blame them for pushing some shares out to the public when you go from under $500 on January 16th to almost 1,000 back there. And you see the action this morning. Not too dramatic, though. Only down about $32. I mean, pretty muted reaction when you look at what we've done in this stock, and you're just back to 732, even with Tesla pushing out $2 billion to the public at this valuation. Other news out there, you have the Barclays CEO being investigated with ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So that, of course, hitting Barclays stock, as you may expect, supposedly cleared by the board, but nonetheless being looked into, pulling it up. They're not going to give us the symbols. Well, we'll find it. The deficit surges 25% in fiscal 2020 and 1.1 trillion over the past year. So that yesterday, but the deficit, we got to keep our eyes on that as we start the first primary yesterday, election season coming up. Hopefully both parties try and pay attention to that ballooning number. Some of the stocks making moves this morning. Pepsi earnings topping estimates, but 2020 outlook below expectations. I don't want to call it a trend, but many companies coming out, and they might be okay this quarter, but a little bit of weakness in the 2020 guidance. Food and beverage giant reported organic revenue growth 4.3%. They expect 4% organic growth in 2020. And to get into the numbers, earnings per share $1.45 versus $1.44. Revenue they beat $20.64 billion versus $20.27. The company, whose products include Frito Snacks, fourth quarter net income $1.77 billion or $126 a share, down from $6.85 or $4.83. That's quite a difference there. $1.7 billion versus $6.8 a year ago. And to pull up Pepsi shares this morning, we'll put this back on a 15-minute chart. PEP. You see the action there was actually trading higher overnight. Comes out with the earnings at about, is that the number? So I guess they're just saying those numbers are coming out today, but nonetheless, 146.35 closed at 146.08. We'll get into the other news items of the day. Coming back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned, folks. Markets in negative territory. We'll be right back.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Dow futures off 178, S&P futures negative by 20, NASDAQ futures negative by 75 right now. Jumping into the other news stories of the morning, we'll start it off with Southwest preparing for another peak summer without the Boeing 737 MAX. Southwest now pulling the Boeing 737 MAX from its schedules until mid-August as this plane continues to be pushed back. You've always seen the airlines seem to be ahead of actually Boeing, saying when this thing could possibly be back in the air. The airline's now pointing to at least mid-August. They've been grounded for nearly a year after the 2 fatal crashes. The change means Southwest would likely go much of the peak summer season without the fuel-efficient planes. To jump over to those 2 shares this morning, Boeing shares trading a bit lower, not necessarily having to do with that, the market lower in general, but nonetheless, 344.15, and Southwest love spiking lower as well, 57.86, the last print on Southwest. Other news out there, MGM going to be getting a new CEO as their CEO, Jim Murren, steps down, withdraws 2020 forecast, blaming coronavirus. So a little bit of sprinkling on top of a resignation in terms of he's stepping down, and withdrawing the forecast. So the shares jumped on the announcement. I think they pared back a bit. We'll pull it up in a moment. He's been there as the CEO since 2008. So you're talking about 12 years he's been at the helm. MGM shares shot up more than 7%, but the stock was last up about 4%. We'll check in on it right now. They have a market value of $17.3 billion, and the stock's been up about 17% over the past 12 months. MGM said its board formed a committee of independent directors to search the U.S. for a replacement. The U.S. casino operator also withdrew its financial forecast for 2020 as it assesses how the coronavirus epidemic will impact operations. Wealthy Chinese patronage in Macau and Las Vegas make up a good chunk of the business, and the virus has clamped down travel and closed companies. They could be hit particularly hard, and you've seen some of these casino stocks get smacked around. MGM, I believe it is. There you go. So you see the action actually spiked higher, 36.22. Now trading actually lower by almost $1 at 32.88. They had their earnings last night, so that, I guess, having to do with the announcement. And the estimate was 25 cents. It looks like they printed 8 cents, and then the conference call begins at 5 o'clock and still hanging around in lower territory for MGM. Other headlines out there. What do we have going on? tough one here. Juul buying ad space on kids' website, including Cartoon Network lawsuit charges. E-cigarette maker Juul Labs bought online ads on teen-focused website Nickelodeon Cartoon Network 17 magazine, according to a lawsuit filed by my home state, Massachusetts Attorney General Office. Pretty repulsive if that's true, and hopefully they get a clamp down on this vape deal because that is pretty intense. In terms of coronavirus update, we covered the numbers that they push on there. Global cases now above 60,000 with that addition, and Princess Cruises guests allowed to leave the ship finally as they've been on a period of lockdown. And in the news of investing, there's now a record number of 401k and IRA millionaires, according to Fidelity. So Fidelity says the record 441,000 IRA or 401k accounts it manages had balances of $1 million or more. That's a 1.6 of the 27.2 million accounts managed by Fidelity. The average balance rising to 112,300, 7% increase from last quarter. I mean, that's a remarkable increase on a quarterly basis on an average. So they have 27 million accounts. The average account was worth 105 last quarter. This quarter, the average of those 27 million accounts is worth 112. Employees are saving more. 1/3 of plan participants increased the amount they were saving by an average of 3%. So that's remarkable, too. You have 1 out of 3 people increasing the amount they're saving by an average of 3% in that number. And thanks to the record-breaking markets, those numbers higher by a dramatic fashion, 441,000 millionaires there. In the world of Jeff Bezos, a little business mixed with entertainment. Bezos moving out to L.A., at least in some capacity, buys the Warner estate in Beverly Hills for a record $165 million. The sale price believed to be the highest in L.A. residential real estate transaction, surpassing the record $150 million spent by Lachlan Murdoch last year to buy the Chartwell estate in Bel Air. So that number, and it was from media mogul David Geffen, $165 million. Sale price believed to be the highest. The Chartwell Chateau was familiar on television viewers, as that is where the Beverly Hillbillies was filmed. 9.4 acres sold by Geffen to Bezos in a deal first reported by the Journal, boasts a stately Hollywood pedigree, named for Jack Warner, Warner Brothers studio chief. 9 acres, remarkable, 9-hole course on the land itself. So pretty remarkable there as Amazon. We'll check in on Amazon shares nonetheless this morning. 2142, the all-time high of 2185. You see Amazon trading down about $18 so far this morning. Speaking of all-time highs, jumping back tonight, Basil Chapman. We are at a peak or near a peak. Basil going to be doing a webinar tonight from 4 till 5:30, Thursday, February 13th. That is today. The dark cloud cover, and he is going to be looking at, that's not a candlestick term, that is the term that Basil uses inside his opening call and the Chapman Wave techniques. 90 minutes talking about the techniques he's using when he's looking for market downturns. Basil had a great short in the Dow. Of course, that number has reversed, reached a new peak. Be interested to hear what he has to say about that, as we've just been trading in a dramatic up-down in February. Great time for a webinar. 4 till 5:30 tonight. You gain instant access to his archive section. 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers. Basil is a great webinar that will be archived by tomorrow. It'll be right on your members page. You can check it out as many times as you'd like. And to give you a peek, we also gain archive webinars. So this is the subscriber section that you gain access to instantly. All subscribers already have access to this. And you can see that Basil did a webinar in November. You can start watching that the moment you sign up. 1 hour and 30 minutes and 50 seconds. Comprehensive review of the Chapman Wave techniques and market outlook ahead for 2020. You can check out all of these right now. You sign up on the front page, and you also gain access, of course, to the opening call where Basil has his archives, daily trading service. Come on over, check that out. That Basil will be live for 90 minutes tonight. I'll be in there from 4 till 5:30. Other news out there, jumping around to some of the FANG stocks. Microsoft, a little bit of volatility from its all-time high. Looking open this morning at 183.23. I'm going to jump away from them for a sec, only because NVIDIA, the chip stock, still hanging near highs, 271, closed at 272.54. AMD this morning, 53.30, closed at 53.89. You had, of course, the T-Mobile And Sprint merger, Verizon getting a little bit hit from that, closed at about 60 before the number at 50.24. AT&T, a competitor as well, 37.94. But on the flip side, Sprint hanging up right around $8.50. And T-Mobile as well, hanging up there at 95.05. Some of those FANG stocks we haven't covered yet. Google, 15.12, about 15.18 closed yesterday. We touched on Microsoft. How about Netflix? A little bit of volatility overnight. Right now, down about $3.17 at 376.83. And we'll end it with Facebook, 209.45. You know what? We're going to jump to Uber and Lyft, too, as we go to the break. Uber hanging up 40.67. Lyft on the extension of their earnings, trading lower again, 48.10. Stay tuned, folks. Be coming back for the final segment of the program. Wrap things up. We'll get ready for that opening bell. We'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Getting a little bit of a pop off the lows right now. We have the S&P futures negative 18 at 33.62. NASDAQ off about 70 points at 95.55. Dow futures off about 160 at 29,360. Jumping over to some of the other final news stories we'll cover this morning. How about Alibaba beating estimates on record Singles Day sales? Almost mind-bending, these numbers. The 24-hour shopping event hit a record $38.4 billion in 2019. I was thinking to myself today, I'm sure you can figure it out, or I could figure it out. The information's out there. How many companies even do $38 billion in a year, let alone Alibaba doing it in one day? Alibaba primarily generates revenue by selling advertising and promotional services to third-party merchants that list products on its e-commerce sites Taobao, and Tmail. So a little bit different than Amazon, not warehousing, shipping it. They're kind of charging third-party sellers completely. Nonetheless, quite a number. And to see how they're trading this morning, actually lower. $218.95, closed yesterday at $224.31. And we'll wrap it up with Cisco earnings out with their earnings, trading lower. Earnings report as revenue continues to decline. To get into the numbers, 77 cents per share for earnings versus 76 expected. Revenue 12.01 versus 11.98 as expected, but that's down 4% from last year. So I guess the expectation was down, but the market, to see how that is trading this morning, CSCO, looks like the market not too happy with hitting expectations there, as you're down almost 6%, 5 to 6% at 47.20 on Cisco. Checking in on the VIX as we wrap up the program. You see the spike to above 15 this morning, the VIX, now back to 1481, and we'll wrap it up with a jump through the indices in the final few seconds. There is your S&P 500. You can see the rise. We're now a solid 16 S&P points off of that low. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesavento coming up live at 9. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. Don't forget about Basel tonight. Go sign up right now. You can watch those archive webinars. The one tonight will be archived as well. Check them out right after Tom's show at 4 o'clock on the front page of TFNN. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesavento coming up right now.